January 3, 1884. Having failed in his mission at the Hellmouth, McMaster has traveled to the rail town of Last Chance in the hope of recruiting some allies to aid him in his quest to destroy the monsters and capture or kill the Scafford gang.
Good evening, and welcome to the Solo Gamers Club. Tonight we'll be continuing on with my solo playthrough of Shadows of Brimstone. This is Season 2, Episode 6, and this one is entitled Sojourn in Last Chance. In the previous episode, we were forced to flee from the Hellmouth, and McMaster has made his way to the rail town of Last Chance. Before we begin to roll up the random elements of that town, I did want to make a report to the viewers. I was able to complete my D100 overland travel hazard table. I've ended up putting those in a book, and they're basically here. I've got these all in from 0 to 100. And this is going to be the book that we're going to use for all travel hazards in the future. We're going to be making a D100 roll, and this is a combination of the original hazards from the Frontier Town expansion book, along with 64 user-created hazards. And this should help in minimizing the number of repeats that we've had. I've noticed in the last several videos we've had sometimes the same travel hazards 3 episodes in a row. So we definitely don't want to have that. And I think that this D100 system is going to help solve that pretty well. I'm going to be posting an updated version of my campaign rules. It's version 2.29, and along with those I will include a PDF of my D100 hazard table, in case anyone would be curious about that. I also created a set of tables that kind of helped me in the creation of those hazards. And I basically had 5 tables here. 4 of them require a D6 roll, and 1 D12. And this basically is just designed to prompt me in the creation of those hazards. Whether or not it would be a random hero, the guide, or all heroes would have to take a test. What does the hazard involve? Was it geography or flora or fauna? And then the encounter results. Are they positive results? Are they mixed, where it could be bad or good depending upon if you pass or fail? Or is it just negative all the way around? The test difficulty, whether it's easy, medium, or hard, and then the test characteristics. What are we going to test? What characteristic could gain a benefit or a loss? And this is just a way for me to prompt my mind in the creation of those hazards. So I'll include that also in the campaign rules update to BGG. All right, McMaster has rolled into the town of Last Chance. And we'll read about what it says on the town of Last Chance on the town sheet. It says, Last Chance is the northernmost rail town in Brimstone County. Since the destruction of Brimstone, it has become the first stop for travelers arriving by rail from all parts east. Following Brimstone's demise, the beautiful and dangerous female gunfighter, Vera Strong, has moved to Last Chance, and she has made the town her new home. And Last Chance is a rail town, so it says here many towns on the frontier are connected by a network of rail lines, with trains bringing fresh supplies, fresh faces, and news from back east on a daily basis. And it has several special abilities. Fresh supplies. At the start of every day in town, each hero may draw a gear card that is a special deal they find offered by a street vendor. This card may be purchased by that hero for its listed value plus $100. Treat no listed value as 0. If not purchased, discard the gear card. Hustle and Bustle. Draw 2 daily event cards each day while in town. And finally, Rail Travel. When finished in town, you may take a train to a different town. And I've changed this from what's written here, and basically for a fee of $40, it will allow us to travel from Last Chance to any other rail town on the map in one move. No travel hazards would be involved, and no rations would be required to remain in supply. And then on the back of the card, there's several extra options. One of them is to send a telegram for $50. Limit once per hero per town stay. You may send a telegraph to a friend or relative back east, telling them of your adventures. Make a luck 4+ test. If passed, you may receive a reply. Before your town stay is over. Gain +1 sanity. And then if you're an outlaw, it would be rob the train. Well, we don't have any outlaw characters in the posse. So those are our extra options in the rail town. Now I've left a D3 dice out on top of the event deck because following our failed adventure at the Hellmouth, D3 buildings are going to be destroyed. So once we create the town, 3 of those buildings are going to be randomly destroyed. So first, let's start out by making a roll and finding out the size of Last Chance. All right, we're going to roll a D20, and that will tell us the size of the town. Okay, here's the roll. We're consulting the town size table. We rolled a 5, so that's going to be a small town. So we're going to have 4 locations only in the town. All right, we'll populate the town. We're going to get 4 of our town tiles, and we'll lay those out one at a time, see what locations we have available. All right, first one is Frontier Outpost. Second one is a general store. Third location is a mutant quarter. And finally, a blacksmith. All right, now we're going to make our D3 roll and find out how many of these buildings have been destroyed as a result of our failed mission. So we can only hope to get a 1 here. So, all right, here's the roll. And of course, we rolled a 3. So 3 of those locations are going to be destroyed. It isn't going to leave us much to shop at. So we're going to roll a D6 and then a 1 or 2, 3 or 4. We actually can use a D8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, first destroyed location is location 5. That's going to be the mutant quarter. Second location is number 1. That's the Frontier Outpost. And the last location that's destroyed is number 6. That's already been destroyed. We'll keep re-rolling till we get one. 1, that's been destroyed. 2, that's been destroyed. 5, that's been destroyed. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, odd or even. We'll do it that way. It's even, so the blacksmith is destroyed. All right. So all we've got right now is the hotel, a campsite, and a general store. Okay. All right, so McMaster is in the rail town, and the first thing we're going to do is draw a daily event. In this case, Hustle and Bustle tells us that we're going to be drawing 2 daily events. We'll give that deck a cut, and then we'll find out what our first daily event is. First one is Rolling Tumbleweed. Town daily event. Just another day on the frontier of the Wild West. Tumbleweed and wide open sky as far as the eye can see. Every hero may heal up to 2 sanity damage. Okay, we have no sanity damage. It also says that if in a specialty town, roll once on the daily events chart for that type of town. Okay, well, we are in a specialty town, so we're going to have to turn that card over, and then we're going to make a D6 roll on the daily events chart for a rail town. Okay, here is our die roll. We rolled a 2, and it says news travels fast. A telegraph comes through the line from a neighboring town. They are under attack, and the demonic swarm is headed your way. Move the darkness marker 1 space forward on the town event track. Okay, so that's going to move from 1 to 2, and when we make our end of day roll, we'll be using that revised total for the roll. All right, then our next card is going to be Old Prospector. Town daily event. Sitting in a rocking chair on the walkway outside the Rusty Pan watering hole, an old prospector tells tales of his adventures on the frontier to any who will listen. All heroes may make a Lore 5 Plus test. For each 5 Plus rolled, gain 5 XP. Okay, McMaster's lore value is 3. And he gains 1 lore for his personal journal. So that's a total of 4. So he'll be rolling 4 dice for this test. And if we can get a 5 for each 5 or greater, we're going to earn 5 XP. Okay, here is his roll. And he ended up with 1 6. So that will net us a total of 5 XP. That brings our XP total up to 695 XP. We have a total of $60 in cash and 1 grit token. All right, next in the town stays, we have to select our lodging. Our choices would be the hotel or the campsite. And as we are low on funds, I'm going to take a chance and we're going to stay at the campsite. Now, we know what happened in several previous videos. That was the demise of one of my main characters, Dakota. But we're going to have to do that because of the monetary situation. So we're going to make a stay at the campsite. All right, we're going to make a roll on the campsite hazard chart. That's a 2d6 roll. And we'll see what happens to us during this stay in the campsite. Okay, here is the roll. We rolled a 5, and that says Stories of Terror. Getting sleep in your tent is nearly impossible as the drunken prospectors tell tales of terror around the campfires nearby. Many of their stories sink into your mind, leaving you shaken to the core. Make a Lore 5 Plus test to avoid lasting nightmares. If successful, gain 10 XP. If failed, take D6 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. All right. Our total lore value is once again 4, so we'll be able to roll 4 dice, and we're looking for a 5 or greater. Okay, here we go. And we have failed that. Okay, I do have a grit token, but I am planning on using that for a different purpose. So we're going to take D6 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. Okay, here is our D6 roll for sanity damage. And we rolled a 1. Okay, so we've got a little lucky there. So we're going to take 1 sanity damage out of our total capacity of 17. All right, this is my plan. I am going to, rather than visiting a town location, I'm going to spend 1 grit token. And I am going to initiate a non-player character interaction with the gunfighter named Vera Strong. Her alignment towards me is friendly, so we have a pretty good chance of getting a positive response from her. And I'll bring up the dossier for Vera Strong. Her background reads, Vera has quickly become known as one of the most skilled gunfighters in the county. She's been challenged by some of the best gunfighters in the Southwest, and she's proven to be as quick and deadly as she is beautiful, besting all who have challenged her. Now she desires to seek her fortune in a different way, and to put her expert skills of shooting to use, deep in the mines and caverns below Brimstone, while seeking a fortune of gold and jewels along the way. All right. Okay, an NPC interaction will occur as follows. Both McMaster and, in this case, Vera Strong are going to make a cunning test. McMaster's cunning is currently at 4, so that will entitle him to 4 dice. Vera Strong's cunning is a 3, so she'll get 3 dice. We're going to make those rolls, and for every 4 or greater, that'll be listed as a success in that interaction. We'll take the total number of successes from McMaster, subtracting the number of successes from Strong, and then adding in her +1 modifier for friendly, and that will give us a result on the NPC encounter table. So we'll be rolling 4 dice for McMaster and 3 dice for Vera Strong. Okay, here is McMaster's roll. We're looking for 4s or greater. He has no successes. Okay, so we'll put those over here. And now she's going to roll. And she has a total of 2 successes. All right, so right now the score is 0 to 2. And we do have a +1 modifier for her being friendly. So that would give us 1 success. So the total is 1 minus 2 equals a -1. And if we look at the NPC encounter table, it says the NPC's attitude toward the hero declines further. Reduce the NPC's alignment 1 column to the left. So she's going to move from friendly down to neutral, and we'll note that on her dossier sheet. That was unfortunate. I was hoping to be able to gain an ally, but no such luck. All right, our next step in the town stay is we're going to be able to draw a rumor token from our rumor cup. And we'll see what information we're able to find out. Okay. There's our pick. And we have no useful leads. So that's going to go back into the bin, and McMaster is no closer than he was to having any more information. And now it's going to be our end of day roll. We're going to make a D6 roll and compare that to the days since last event. If that number is equal to or less than 2 in this case, then we're going to have a daily event. Okay, here is the roll. Rolled a 5, so we're good with that. The marker will increase by 1 to 3, and now we have to decide if we're going to remain in town for another day or if we're going to leave town. Well, I'm looking at my options for McMaster, and they're not very good ones. My biggest problem is I have no allies right now. I can't afford to purchase any hirelings. So I'm going to have to try to use an NPC encounter to try to get one of the people that I know to tag along with me. Now, my best chance is a lady called Della Jewel Price. She's a rancher. She has a dedicated alignment to me. She's in Wilson's Lodge. Now, the problem with that is that's quite a ways away from where I am now. So my plan is to take a train from Last Chance to Stone's Crossing. Stone's Crossing is at the southern part of the map. From there, I would use overland movement to get to Larberg's Landing. And then from Larberg's Landing, I would hopefully be able to generate enough income by working on the docks to get a river ticket from Larberg's Landing to Wilson's Lodge. So that's kind of the plan that I'm envisioning here. There are no nearby missions that I can undertake at this moment. I can always take an ad hoc mission. That's always available to me, but I'm so low on supplies, and I have no rations right now, and I have $60 in cash. The rail ticket is going to cost me $40 to get to Stone's Crossing. So what I'm anticipating is to purchase some supplies in Last Chance. Then take the rail to Stone's Crossing, make an overland movement to Larberg's Landing, work at the docks on Larberg's Landing, generate some money, hopefully, and then take the steamboat to Wilson's Lodge and try to get an interaction with my the person I have on my personal NPC list. That is Della Jewel Price. So that's kind of the plan I'm thinking about. So we're going to remain in Last Chance for at least one more day, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, these daily events are gone. I'll put those at the bottom of the deck, and then we will undertake one more day's stay in Last Chance. All right, our first step is to draw our daily events. Now, in this case, because we are in the rail town with the hustle and bustle ability, we have to draw 2. So here's the first one. It says, a no good, very bad day. Town daily event. With all that has been happening lately, how could things get any worse? You had to ask. Immediately roll once on the town event chart Do not reset the darkness marker on the town event track for this. Okay. All right, we're going to roll 2d6 and consult the town event chart, and we'll see what happens to us. Okay, we rolled a 7. It says spreading fear. Fear spreads through the town as the days grow dark and the demonic attacks more frequent. One random town location closes up shop and may not be visited for the rest of the town stay. Roll a d6 to determine which location. The campsite dissipates, may no longer be used, and the hotel doubles its current rate. Okay. Well, that's about the worst thing that could have happened to us. Okay, the general store is going to close. And in addition, the campsite has dissipated, so we can't go there. It's going to force us to stay at the hotel. That will totally destroy my plan. Okay, that was the first daily event. Here's the second one. It says we found something. Buried in the sand. Come take a look. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Each hero may make a lore 4+ test to investigate. Gain 10 XP for every 4+ rolled. If you roll any 1s, take d6 horror hits. If you roll any 6s, you also discover that the miners have found something of value and are willing to sell it to you. Draw a world card to see where the object is from, and then an artifact card from that world. You may purchase it for d6 times $50. Well, I suppose we'll make the lore test. We have a lore total value of 4, 3 plus the 1 for our personal journal. So we'll make that roll and see if we can generate any XP at least. Okay, well, we did have 2 successes. We have no 1s. So that's going to generate us 20 XP. And that is it. So that will take care of all the daily events that we have to do for today. And that moves us up to 715 XP. Our next level will occur at 1,000. Well, we have no option but to stay at the hotel. And that is going to cost us $10. Okay, that will leave us with $50 in cash. And as we have no locations that we can visit, I think I'm going to just stay and try to heal up in the hotel room. That'll allow us a D3 roll, and we can heal D3 sanity or regular damage, sanity or health damage. Okay, here's the roll. Rolled a 3. Okay, that's good. I'm going to heal 3 of my wounds. That will bring me down to 2 wounds out of my possible 14 now. And now we're going to get a draw from the rumor cup. Okay. And that time we have a special event. Okay, special event. Let's see what that means. All right, I'll bring the special event table up on the screen, and it says we are to roll a d8 and consult that table. And we'll see what we get. Okay, here is the roll. We rolled an 8. It says create a new NPC and add them to the town NPC list. All right. All right, I rolled up our NPC. I'll bring his statistics up on the screen. His name is Horace Hathaway. He's a shopkeeper. Unfortunately, he ended up with an unfriendly alignment towards the posse. His background reads, Horace was the owner of the general store in Last Chance, and he blames McMaster for bringing misfortune on the town, thereby forcing him to close up his shop. So we probably won't get too much help from old Horace. So that special event token will go back into the draw pile. That can be drawn again in the future. And now we have to make our end of day roll. All right, it's a d6 roll, and the marker is at 3, so a 3 or less will produce a town event. Here's the roll. We rolled a 5. Okay, thank goodness. All right, so there'll be no town event, and considering what we have in this town, we're going to end up taking the rail travel, and I'm going to take that down to Stone's Crossing. That's going to cost me $40. So that will leave me with just $10 remaining. and that will take us to Stone's Crossing. All right, we're back at the campaign map. We're taking the rail travel option that costed me $40. That'll allow us to travel from Last Chance to any green location that we want, and I'm choosing to go to Stone's Crossing. So we're going to find out what Stone's Crossing is like. My plan is to purchase some supplies in Stone's Crossing, make a short overland trip to Larberg's Landing, which is a river town. And at a river town, we're able to generate some cash by working on the docks, and that's kind of the plan I have. So we're going to draft up Stone's Crossing and see what that looks like. All right, so it is now January 5th, 1884, and McMaster has arrived in the rail town of Stone's Crossing. Stone's Crossing reads as follows. Stone's Crossing is the southernmost rail town in the county, and it is home to the master of the forge, the famous blacksmith, Leo Blake. Leo has mastered the melting, refining, and forging of many weapons and items imbued with darkstone, and his creations are highly sought after by people all over the region. The town has 2 NPCs, Leo Blake, the blacksmith, he's currently neutral, and Joshua A. O'Connor, he's a preacher, he also has a neutral alignment to the posse. Okay, we'll begin the creation of Stone's Crossing by finding out the size of the town. We're going to make a roll on our town size table. It's a D20 roll, and this will tell us the size of the town. Okay, we rolled a 13. That's a medium-sized town, so we'll be drafting a total of 6 town locations. All right, we'll give our town location stack a little bit of a shuffle. All right, and then we'll give that a cut, and then we're going to display 6 locations for a medium-sized town. First one is Indian Trading Post. Second one is Frontier Outpost. Third is a street market. Fourth is blacksmith. Fifth is a saloon. And finally, a doctor's office. Okay, so that will be our layout for Stone's Crossing. All right, I've recorded those town locations on the town record sheet. I've given the daily events deck a shuffle. We'll give that a cut. And then we are ready for a town stay in Stone's Crossing. And we'll start the town stay by drawing a daily event. Now, this is also a rail town, so once again, we have that hustle and bustle where we're going to draw 2 daily events. I'm not going to bother with fresh supplies. I don't think we're going to be of being able to afford any gear at this time. So we're just going to do our 2 daily events. Here's the first one. And we get a no good, very bad day. With all that has been happening lately, how could things get any worse? You had to ask. Immediately roll once on the town event chart. Do not reset darkness marker on the town event track for this. Okay. All right, we're going to make a 2d6 roll and see what town event is going to strike us. Our luck has been absolutely atrocious. Okay, here's the roll. A 4 is rolled. It says fire. Fire has broken out, setting the town ablaze. D3 random building locations burn to the ground in the fire and may not be visited for the rest of the town stay. Okay, we're going to roll a D3 and find out how many buildings have been destroyed by fire. And we rolled a 2, so 2 buildings will go, and we're going to be rolling a D6 to determine those locations. So we'll roll 2d6 and those buildings will be destroyed. A 6 and a 3. Okay, so the street market has been burned to the ground along with the doctor's office. We'll make a note of that on our town sheet. All right, that was the first town event of our 2 that we have to check. Here's the second one. And this one says derailed train. Tau daily event. With a thunderous crash, the screech of twisting metal, and the hiss of venting steam, the morning train jumps its tracks, careening through the town. Roll a random location in town. That location, as well as the two locations on either side of it, using the random numbers, are in the path of the wrecked train as it plows through the town. Roll a d6 for each of these locations. On a 1, 2, or 3, the location is destroyed and may not be visited for the rest of the town stay. Whoa! Well, if I'm being honest, I have to say that McMaster is probably the unluckiest individual in the Old West. So, okay, we're going to make our find out about our derailed train. So we'll make a random roll. It's a d6 roll that'll find out the location, and then either side of them are going to be also in the path. So this will be in number 2. That'll be centered on the frontier outpost. So that will be either 1 and 3 would have to be checked for. So 3 is already destroyed, so that train would just plow through an already burned out wreck. But we'll have to check for the trading post and see if that and the frontier outpost have been destroyed. All right, so the first one is the Indian trading post. On a 1 to 3, it's destroyed. And it is. The Indian trading post has been destroyed by the train. And then finally the frontier outpost. See if that is destroyed. And of course it is. So we've lost a total of 4 locations out of the 6 in the town without us even taking an action. And that's going to complete our town daily events. We'll put those at the bottom of the deck. And now we have to choose our lodging. Well, I'm going to have to stay at the campsite. I have only $10 in cash left, and I'm going to need that to purchase some supplies. So we'll be staying at the campsite, and we're going to have to make a roll for the campsite. Okay, this is going to be a 2d6 roll on the campsite hazard chart. Okay, here's the roll. We rolled a 4, and that's the fever. A plague spreads through the camp like wildfire. Make a Spirit 5+ test to avoid getting sick. If successful, gain 10 XP. If failed, take d6 wounds, ignoring defense. Okay, so we're going to be taking using a Spirit 5+ test. McMaster's Spirit is 1, and he gains 1 for his personal journal. So we're going to get 2 dice to roll, and we were looking for a 5 or greater. Okay, here is his roll. And he failed. So he's going to be taking d6 wounds, ignoring defense. Okay, he already has 2 wounds, and he'll be adding an additional, of course, 6 to them. So that brings us up to a total of 8 wounds out of our possible 14 now. So currently McMaster is holding 8 wounds out of a possible 14 and 1 sanity damage out of a possible 17. Okay, now we're able to visit a town location, and I think what I'm going to do is I need to purchase supplies, so the only location I can do that at is at the campsite. So we're going to visit the campsite. We'll start out by making a 2d6 roll there and seeing our location event. Okay, here's the roll. We rolled a 9, and that says Dirty Poker. The campsite is filled with drinking, laughing, and games of cards over a rickety table or barrelhead. You make a Luck 4+ test. For every 4+ rolled, gain $25. For every 1 rolled, lose $50. Okay, all right, so McMaster has a luck value of 3, and so he'll be able to roll 3 dice. All right, and what we don't want are 1s. So, okay, we're looking for 4s or greater. Here's the roll. And we rolled 1 success. We have a 6, but we also rolled a 1. So that means we're going to earn $25, but we're going to lose $50 in the process. So right now we have no money. We're completely broke. We had $10 from before. We earned $25 from the poker, and we lose $50. So we're dead broke. Okay, now we're able to draw a random rumor token, and let's see if we can have something come up that will help us here. And we ended up with a feral vampires mission called Lair of the Vampire. Okay, let's find out where that's going to go on the campaign map. Okay, we're going to make a roll on the mission location table. That's a D20 roll. And we'll find out where that feral vampires mission is going to be. Lair of the Vampire. Okay, here's the roll. We rolled a 6. Yep, that's a 6. That's going to be at Mount Laterra. So that's going to be right here, more in the center of the board. Okay. Okay, we're back at the town display, and finally now we have to make a D6 roll, and this is our end of day roll. And right now that marker is at 1, so we would have a town event on a roll of 1. Rolled a 2, so we barely escaped that. All right, now we have to decide if we're going to remain in town or if we're going to leave. And I think that's a pretty easy decision. We're going to just head out on the road and try to head for Larberg's Landing. I know I have no supplies, so we're going to be foraging as we go. All right, we're back at the campaign display. We're at Stone's Crossing. I'm going to be selecting this travel route, and we're going to make our way towards Larberg's Landing. It's a river town. All right, we're at the Overland Movement display. We've already selected our travel path, and that is the light brown recognized trail that's heading southwest from Stone's Crossing to Larberg's Landing. We'll select our guide. That's going to be McMaster. There's no one else to pick. And now we're going to select our travel pace. Now we are going to be unsupplied. I don't have any provisions, and we're going to be foraging. So we're going to use the cautious pace. And the worst part about that is if there is a mission completion check, we're going to be using a D4. So that means that each mission on the campaign map is going to be completed by others on a 25% chance of that happening. But I think we'll try this. It's going to consume 3 calendar days in this trip. And so we'll be using the light brown column. We are mounted, so we'll get +1 for that. We're traveling at a cautious pace. That's +2. We are unsupplied, that's -1, and we're foraging, so that's -2. So we're at a equal, it's 0 modifier, and so we're going to roll a D8 and find out how many travel hazards we will have to endure. And we rolled a 1. Okay, so a 1 on the light brown column is 2 travel hazards, but as we've rolled a natural 1, we have to check for mission completion. And as I had feared, mission completion will be done using a D4. So we have a 25% chance of each of the active missions on the campaign map being completed by others. Okay, we'll take care of that first. All right, we have to make a D4 roll for every mission on the board, and on a result of 1, it will be removed from the display permanently. Okay, here we'll start with the basic mission Blow the Mine that's in the Badlands. Okay, here is the D4 roll. Rolled a 4, so that one's all right. We'll check the Feral Vampires mission in Mount Laterra. It's a cocked die, we'll have to re-roll that. And that's a 4, so we're okay with that one. And the last mission we have is the Swamps of Death mission, Lost Journal up in Griff's Pass. Make a roll for that. And we rolled a 3. So, okay, no damage, surprisingly. Those missions are still on the board and available to us. All right, McMaster's going to make his foraging roll. He's currently unsupplied, so if he's able to pass this foraging roll, at least he'll be remaining in temporary supply, which will prevent him from taking -1 health and a temporary losses to agility and strength. He's going to use his cunning. He has a value of 4, so that'll allow him to roll 4 dice. And we're looking for a 6, or 6 is what we want. Okay, here is the roll. And luckily, he did get a 6, so he's going to remain in temporary supply. He won't take any wound damage and have no losses to his agility or strength, so that's good. All right, now we have to make 2 hazard rolls. Now we're going to be using our new table. That's a D100 table. And so we're going to be rolling 2 10-sided dice, a red and a white. The red is going to be the 10s, the white will be the singles. and we'll see what is going to befall us. Okay, here's the first roll. And we rolled a 56. 56, so we'll read entry number 56. All right, entry 56 is wrecked train. The twisted hulk of a wrecked train fills the valley below, mangled and half buried in the rubble and debris. It must have jumped the track or been forced off. Looks like it has been here a while. If the posse is not traveling along a rail line, a gray path, ignore this hazard. Okay, so that's good. So we're just going to ignore that. We are not on a gray path. We are on a light brown. So that is the first travel hazard. Now we're going to roll for our second. Okay, here's our D100. And we rolled an 80. All right. And entry 80 reads, circling vultures. Seeing the black vultures circling overhead reminds you that there is no safe haven in this forsaken place. All will come to ruin in time, and the vultures will have their feast in the end. Every hero must make a Spirit 5+ test. If passed, gain 10 XP and heal D3 sanity. If failed, take D3 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. Okay, McMaster has a Spirit of 1, and he gains +1 Spirit from his personal journal, so that'll allow him to roll 2 dice. And we're looking for a value of 5 or greater. Okay, here's his test. And he failed. Okay, he's going to take D3 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. Okay, we'll get our D3 die out, and he's going to lose 3 sanity. So that'll bring his sanity damage up to 4. 4 out of a possible 17. And that's going to complete the hazards that we have on this overland travel, and we'll be arriving in Larberg's Landing. All right, so McMaster has made his way to the river town of Larberg's Landing. And I think we're going to end the video here. I'm a little dejected by all that has happened during this turn, and I just cannot catch a break at all. If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. So we'll return in episode 7 with McMaster's stay at Larberg's Landing. We'll have to roll that town up, find out what it's about, and hopefully he can generate enough money while he's there to be able to get to Wilshin's Lodge and maybe make an NPC encounter there with his friend. All right, until next time, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon again on the Solo Gamers Club. Have a good evening.